Versteijnen. You can call me BP, is much easier. I used to study with Ajahn Buddhadasa. This building is dedicated to Ajahn Buddhadasa, for the ones who don't know. He was one of the great teachers we had here in Thailand. He was a bit opposed to all these funny things you see around here, where the tourists like to go. All these funny monasteries, temples who can build bigger Buddhas than you, or bigger temple than you, or you can spend more money with us, and you'll buy your happiness with us, please. And there's two traditions in Thailand. In Thailand, 95% of the Buddhists, I call them money Buddhists. Does everyone understand my English? Anyone who doesn't? Because I speak a little bit Thai, but not that much. So here, 95% in Thailand, I call them money Buddhists. It's not very friendly. Because you can go to the temple and buy some happiness, or buy some future, or buy a better karma. 5% of the Thai Buddhists, they still live in the forest. And they live in simple huts, simple accommodation. Nowadays a little bit improved, but still very simple. They meditate. They don't beg for money, they beg for food. They go out every morning to the village where they are and ask for food. They go back to their monastery and meditate. Some of them walk from monastery to monastery. This tradition is called Wat Pa, Wat Temple Pa Forest. So in Thailand, if you look for the right place to meditate, the right monks to talk to, you go to a forest temple, a Wat Pa. None of this what you see here in Bangkok. There are a few exceptions here in Bangkok. This is one of them. This is like after the real Swan Mok in the south, where I spent 2 years with Ajahn Buddhadasa. And he was a very jolly teacher. He liked to explain things in his own way. And he was against all this Thai tradition. He was against superstition. Most people know this story, only the superstitious side, and only the traditional side of the story. But there's a psychology side to the story that I try to explain today. So, welcome all again. Sorry, I forgot to welcome you. And so let's start with something you maybe like to meditate. You all like to meditate? You know that? So when you meditate, for me, there's something I try to explain. When you are on this side of the line, this side of the line, consciousness. So our thing, what we all have is consciousness. We can be conscious of other things. And the other things is your body, and your mind. So when you meditate, you're either in this state or you're in that state. So when you breathe in and breathe out, breathe in and breathe out, and then you think, I have to send this email today. So you're back there. So you breathe in and breathe out, and maybe nothing happens for a few seconds, you're there. And then again, you're conscious of something. And your senses. So these are the two main things you experience when you meditate. All the other stories you learn from other people, this is the simplest way to meditate. This is for dummies, as we call it. Meditation for dummies. You're either on this side of the line or on that side. And don't be upset when it happens, because when you realize you're on this side of the line, it's a very important moment in your meditation. It's when you realize, hey, I'm conscious of this. So it's all about consciousness. All there is consciousness. The rest is your imagination. So this is all what happens after consciousness. This is outside stuff. The real thing is an inside job. Consciousness. So when you meditate, you realize, like, I am conscious of all kinds of things, and I can go back inside and breathe in and breathe out, and maybe slowly you cool cooling down in Pali language or in Sanskrit language is a verb called nirvana. Nirvana is not a place, it's not the heaven, it's not some funny imagination stuff. Nirvana is a verb, like Buddhadasa used to explain, to cool off. And when you have moments where you're just there in your consciousness, more and more, you cool off more and more until you reach a state, whatever you want to call it. I don't give it names. So that's about meditation, more or less. Then you'll find yourself in like you live in Bangkok. So here in Bangkok you have a very nice meditation aid in the street all the time. You see taxis going by in the street. So what you kuntai chama? Macam kuntai ma? Okay. So what do you see in the front of the taxi on the sign? Yes, green or in red?
ส่วนมากไม่ได้ขึ้น
This taxi says no. On the taxi, on the window of the taxi is a little small again Wang. You see on the taxis this little sign says Wang. So we are striving to go there and slowly move there a bit more and see if you can. So this is called, also another name for this is called Sitwang. Sitwang in Thai. So this is a empty space. Like if you see a taxi going by and there's no customer in it, this little sign says Wang. There's no Luka, there's no customer inside. It's only the taxi and the driver. The taxi and the driver going past, no person. As soon as the person comes inside, you're no longer here. When the person comes inside, you imagine yourself to be somebody, you have a past and a family and a career and all this. That's the person. So you can be free of the person or you are with the person. And you see it all the time here in Bangkok. Each time you see a taxi going past, it's a meditation aid. It's great, it's beautiful. Wow, oh, free of a person, there's no person inside. How about me? I'm identifying with the person inside, or am I identifying with that I am just plain consciousness and nothing else? All there is consciousness, the rest is your imagination. When you understand this, you can go home. You don't have to listen to me. But it's a bit hard to grasp maybe for you. So this funny painting is a bit scary, you know? So, yeah, is there anyone here who thinks he will not die at the end of this life? Will you die at the end of this life? Dasa, Ajahn Chah, all kinds of famous people, they spoke about reincarnating all the time. Every day you die a number of times. Every day you pass from here to there a number of times. So you have a realization, observation, you realize something, you see something, and when you make a move, you go on in life. You learn something. Something died, and a new life begins. And this kind of reincarnation is what Buddha pointed at. This is what all the forest teachers will point at. The other ones here, they will say, you can buy a very much better reincarnation in our temple. But this is the story for the normal temples here in Thailand. You go and buy something. You go to Big C or you go to the 7-Eleven with money to get something. So here people they go to temples and give money to get something back. This is not Buddha's idea. This was not Buddha's idea. This came later. This was the money. This is where money comes in. So dying, we all seem to be dying, no? Because it's like we are busy dying, all of us. So the main influence on our life is death. Or you could use another word, time. We have limited time. Or that we are not permanent. We are not permanent. We have a short lifespan, in fact. And then we die. We don't know what happens afterwards. Nobody knows. Some people pretend to know, but I don't. I don't know. So this circle is in the claws of this monster, his feet, his hands, his teeth, his arms, his hands. They hold your life. So time, impermanence, dying is the main influence on your life. Every day, all the time. After that, there is like we are here now, it's maybe 10:30. So this is also a Marika, this is also a clock. So who knows where we are now in this clock? Which image of this here? Where are we now? Please come show us.
The second line.
No. Please come show us. Come show us where we are.
Where we are now.
Yeah, now this moment, 10:30 in the morning. Yes.
At the moment we are human.
At the moment we are here.
Oh.
There.
We are human.
Yeah, we are human. Of course, we are human. This is about all the main influences on your life, from time, from minute to minute, from moment to moment. From moment to moment, things happen. So you realize things, you see things, you know things, you make observations. So you're born with senses. Your senses are here. And these senses, what I said here, they're just an empty thing. They're like a camera or a microphone. But there's nothing in there, no person. And you make observations, you see things, you get information all the time. When you try to meditate, you realize how much comes in all the time. So this moment is here, where we are now. Our senses are empty of a person. They are just tools, things we can use. We can use our eyes, our ears, our nose, our taste, our thinking, our imagination, all these things we can use, but there's no person living in any of these houses that represent the senses. So we make contact with objects. All the time we make contact with objects. And this is it's a very powerful moment. From moment to moment you're making contact with objects, with your senses. And these senses, they will transmit to you automatically the third thing that happens every moment. So there's your senses, there's an object, you're aware of the object, and automatically the third thing will also happen every moment, is the feeling that comes with it. So every moment is three things. So it's the senses making contact with an object, and you're having a feeling. This is what's happened every moment for everybody the same. Whether you're Christian or Buddhist, doesn't matter. Every moment you have the same observation. My senses are making contact with an object. It can be a smell, can be a taste, can be something you see, can be listening to somebody, can be anything. And automatically you get a feeling. Like, oh, you think, oh, this Dutch guy has a funny voice. No? Something like this. You automatically, you cannot stop it, having a feeling. And this feeling relates to what you have experienced in the past. So the past is here on this side. So in the past, you have learned certain things. Maybe you learn good things, maybe you learn bad things. And because of this, you now have a feeling. This is called feeling. So your feeling has to do with what you have experienced before. Yesterday, before you in this life. So you learn things in school, you had the parents, you had education, you traveled, you have all sorts of images, and you bring them always to this moment. Each time you have an observation, a contact with an object, each time a feeling will arise, and everybody will have a different feeling with the same thing. So you might be looking at the same painting, or you might be eating the same food, but you have a different feeling. You might be listening to the same person and you have a different feeling from your neighbor. So this feeling comes from the past. So this is all past. So here you have the taxi, the mind and the body. Like body and mind. So body and mind is a realization you can have in the past. You have learned maybe that you have a body and you have a mind. And the mind is totally uncontrollable. Don't try to control it, it will get worse. So this is the uncontrollable mind, the monkey. My personal advice is if you want to sit quiet and meditate, you will find that the monkey will come disturb you. Laugh. Make jokes about this monkey. Because don't fight him, he will get worse. He will come back like you've never seen before. The best way I find to find peace and quiet is to laugh about what's happening in your mind. It's not your mind. You claim it to be your mind. You don't need to claim it that it's your mind. Don't make that mistake. So all this you bring to the moment now. And it influences your feelings. And you decide that you like the feeling or you don't like the feeling, or maybe there's no emotion at all. But this has to do with the feeling. From the feeling, you will go and do something. There will be an action. So your action, say?
The feeling, why they're showing two arrows going into the eyes?
Because it's very, very, very painful sometimes. And it's very much making you do something. If you get two arrows in your eye, you start doing things. You don't sit quiet and peaceful and think, oh, the world is so nice. It's like to show you how powerful feeling is. Because this determines every moment in your life what you're going to do next moment. So this repeating or wanting to repeat or wanting never to repeat or being okay with the feeling happens here. And it all stems from up there somewhere where you learn to do something. There's a guy making pots, it's a pottery. So he learned how to do this. You also learn skills in your life. Maybe some very good skills. Some other people learn some very bad skills. You maybe had problems with your parents, you brought some psychological problem with you, maybe possible. That determines again your feeling. Each time you make contact with an object, your senses make contact with an object, a feeling arises, and you will respond according to what happened to you in the past. According to that, you will continue doing something that you maybe regret later, or maybe a good thing. It's both is possible. Like in Buddhism, often it's all negative, but I try to tell you also you can be positive with this whole thing. Because sometimes this is such a negative story in some books. But you can also learn. You can learn each moment from your feeling. To go back and see, oh, this was contact with an object. And it was my mind and body. Where did I learn this? From the behavior? Or where did it come from? And then look at this. Do I want to repeat this? Is this harmful? Or is it good for me? Is it good for other people? Do I continue doing this? Did I learn something? Maybe you learned something. So you will give birth to a new life form. You'll get reincarnated that moment. You'll get pregnant and you'll start doing something in a different way. Maybe worse, maybe better, depending on your personality. So this giving birth is pictured there. See? So this is your reincarnation. It happens almost each time you have a feeling. So don't look for next life or try to buy a better next life. It's happening here and now, every moment for you. So that's the main story here in this outer limb. And then these sections here, they are also influences that are more specific for people. Some of you might find yourself in a psychological problematic state. You have a lot of fear. And the psychologist will tell you what kind of fear it is and all kinds of things. And fear is here like animals. Animals, they like to eat each other and they're all afraid to be eaten. So in those days, 600 years after Christ, Nagarjuna painted this. And he painted fear as animals that are chasing each other. And for you also, if you have fear, it will make you very much afraid. It will hinder you from being a positive person. About this whole drawing, actually it is Buddha who did this drawing 2560 something years ago in Rajgir in North India. He made this drawing in the sand. About 600 years after Christ, there was a Tibetan yogi. He painted this in this form as we know it, and it's used almost every tradition in Buddhism is using this painting. They're very common in Tibetan monasteries. You see it always as the first thing before you even enter the door of a meditation room in a Chinese monastery, but the Tibetan monasteries, sorry, not Chinese, Tibetan, you see this painting. Because if you understand what happens every moment in your life, you will sit down and meditate completely different from what you did before. So they all say that this painting is one of the most important things to practice, to understand. To understand that every moment is influenced. Because the influences here is fear. Addiction, you can be addicted to something. It can be many things, drugs, alcohol, sex, you name it. There's internet nowadays, it can be so much new kinds of addictions are there nowadays, it's unbelievable. So you will find that the contact you make every moment stems, the feeling comes again from either fear, from an addiction, that motivates you to do something, maybe a bad thing, maybe a good thing, usually not so good things, like the addiction. Fear also makes you do things that are not benefiting to you and not people around you. Then you have another state in which you experience pain or anger, they say. There's a couple of explanations for this. Hellish pain, hellish anger, hell, you to put yourself in the hell. Your body, your pain can put you in hell. Your thoughts, your anger can put you in hell. So sometimes this is explained as hell. Then there is up there, is divided in two more or less, is the state of the people who are, nowadays we call them rich people, the rich ones. And we maybe are not billionaires, none of us, so we all look up to these people like how they did it, how amazing their life, like how they can fly everywhere, they have so many boats, so many planes, and well, these people are so amazing, and you realize these people don't benefit much to our planet. But anyway, you're jealous of their nice yacht and nice jet plane and all this. So in that little book there's two groups. There's the jealous group and the rich, what I call the rich group. And some people call that also heaven, but I don't like the title, I don't like the name. So then there is this section, what you pointed out, the lady here pointed out, we are actually also there. This is where everything is more or less in balance, as we experience in our daily life. We have a roof above our head, we have food, we have a teacher to listen to, we have maybe a good family to stay with, we have nice things to do, we enjoy life. So this is when you're more or less in balance and not so much troubled by an addiction, by anger, pain, fear. And you're not into this fight between poor and rich and being jealous or being so rich you don't care about nobody. So this is the state where you're in balance, more or less, right? It's the normal life for everybody. You start a family, you listen to teachers, you work, you have a job, you benefit to the planet. Then in very short, the influences are here also. So every moment, this feeling that arises will be like, I want more of this feeling, or I want less of this feeling. This typical Tai Chi movement, maybe you do that. You want or you don't want. Wanting, not wanting. These animals here depict these two things. You want or you don't want. And you do it in different ways. It might be friendly, it might be very unfriendly. I find myself being unfriendly sometimes, sorry, doing this, like, no, I don't want this. Or, oh, I like this, I like to understand more of this, I want to know more of this. So this we do every moment in our life, every moment we have a feeling of I want more or I want less. So this is what's depicted here. And then there's this funny, like pig kind of animal that represents your wisdom or your ignorance, whatever you want to call it. I learned to explain this from different people like Dalai Lama, Anagarika Govinda, from Ajahn Buddhadasa, this building is dedicated to Ajahn Buddhadasa. To explain, like, there's not only the negative side of the story, there's also the positive side of the story. So you also, this animal normally gets explained like ignorance. So in this wanting or not wanting, you can use your wisdom or you can use your ignorance. The result is clear. The result is visible here. By being ignorant, you will find yourself creating problems. By being wise in your decisions of wanting or not wanting, you will find yourself in a better mental state. And it's depicted here by these two sides. And this is the main psychology. Buddha was a scientist. Buddhism is not a belief system, it's a scientific system. Buddha was one of the first psychologists. Later, this was recognized by a famous guy, Kant. Maybe you heard of, in psychology, is a guy called Kant. He copied exactly this model from Buddha. But Buddha was 2,500 years before him. So this is Buddhist psychology plain, without belief system. You don't need to believe anything. So far, I think I didn't make you uncomfortable with wanting you to believe something, did I? Anybody has a question before we continue? All the time. You cannot avoid, you cannot stop it. You can slow it down maybe. When you go to this side of the line, you might be able to slow it down a bit and to go in slow speed. And you'll see it happening all the time.
So when you're on this side of the mind, are you meditating or are you not meditating?
Whatever you like to call it. Because meditation also became a polluted word now. Now you can meditate for $100 an hour. In the past it was always free. I sat with many famous people who never asked a penny. But nowadays you pay. And we call it meditation. Or VIP asana. Where they try to make you sit and force you to sit. And they think, do you have a dog? Anyone has a dog? You have a dog? What happens when you hold the tail of the dog? It stops wagging. What happens when you let it go? It continues wagging its tail. This is what happens when you force yourself to meditate. Like these VIP asana guys, where you sit 10 days and not walk, they force you to do things. Their teacher was Goenka. I sat 10 days with this man from Burma in 1981 in Nepal. This man, he was very jolly, very funny. He allowed us to walk, sit, whatever, sleep. Nowadays, the same VIP asana guys, they are like police. And I don't like this system, sorry. It's my bad. Anyway, more questions?
So in this system, I think what's interesting for me is to see just how important that one small box is. That it's the box of the 50 senses.
Yeah, the moment now.
Is it's like the central part of the story, but in the actual big picture,
yeah.
You wouldn't necessarily realize that it all begins there.
Yeah.
Without your senses, there's nothing to be sensed. There's no life to experience. So controlling this and understanding this one section and how it radiates from the past into it and the future out is sort of the central part of the picture that actually has a big guy in the middle and something else in the center. It's interesting.
Anyway, the most important thing is that like you'll find yourself in all the books. They tell you live in the moment. So they define the moment in this painting as a making contact with an object. And what makes contact with the object is your senses normally. You have 6 senses. In the East they have 6 senses. So also your thinking, your mind, whatever you want to call it, you can visualize things, imagine things, you have dreams, all kinds of things. They all come to this moment. And if you want to be quiet and sit and peaceful, they'll come and bother you. So again, I'll tell you, laugh about these things because they're not real. You imagine them to be real. You need to live with them because some of it's very real, of course. You have to pay your bills. You have to go to work. You have to feed your kids. These are normal things you all have to do. But in fact, what's happening is from moment to moment, you have feelings that are caused by making contact with an object. And the contact is through the senses. And if you realize the senses are without a person, it's like the taxi. There's no customer inside. It's free. It's warm. Cheap warm. Free spirit, free ghost, free mind. Not limited. As soon as you put a person in these empty houses, you limit yourself. Just see it as I observe something that I have, a possibility that I have is to observe things. And then comes the feeling, and if you understand a little bit more of this story, then you realize why you have these particular feelings. And you could work with them, go back to the past and find out what. But you can realize this from moment to moment, and that makes meditation a very interesting thing to do. Besides breathing in and breathing out, and God knows what they want you to do. Any more questions?
Observing at the black creatures about this way of life, does it has anything to do with the way of life?
The black creature?
Or it's just the black creature?
So the main, you'll have a watch.
Yes.
So you live by the time.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is time. Or impermanence. Nothing is permanent. You are not permanent. You will die. Maybe before you realize you will die.
So any story?
And this is this black thing, the black creature. The main influence on your life.
So it's kind of just the background of the will.
Yeah, but nothing's permanent. See? And that's what he represents. There's nothing is permanent. And that's what you realize all the time. You finish your nice plate of food. It's not permanent. No? How many plates of food can you eat? So all the time you have this, like nothing's satisfying really. Nothing's permanent. You would like it to be permanent. Sometimes you're lucky it's not permanent. When something bad happens, it's also not permanent.
So with that question then, I guess the more you can understand that concept, the size of that black creature starts to shrink. In a way, like it doesn't become so dominating. It's like I accept it's scary because you don't want it to be there. But if you accept that it's there, it's like I can't make you go away.
Yeah.
I can't make you go in.
Yeah, it will change the feeling.
Yeah, but the more you resist against it, the bigger it gets.
Don't do it. Don't.
But the less you resist against it, then the smaller.
Let it go. Let it go.
Yeah.
Let it flow. It's very much a picture about what influences us every moment in our life. It's not about a belief system or some pie in the sky or something. So for me, this is a very powerful image. So I produced a book around the time they opened this building. I was also asked here to give a talk and present the book that I made about this painting, and I'm giving it away for free. I printed once 4,000 copies that I sold from my own hands. 4,000 copies. I went to all the Buddhist pilgrim places, and several meditation places, and distributed the book by hand. And they're all sold out. I have 2 or 3 copies that I keep for myself, but you can have it for free. I have it in the internet. If you come to me, I'll give it to you in your email. Any more questions?
So the black figure, that's death, right? Death.
Time, impermanence.
Could you say death, the same thing?
Yeah, it's all the same story, It is an influence on your life. The influence is time, is death, is impermanence. And you experience that every moment. Anyone?
You have to put the microphone closer.
Okay, it's good, yeah? It's good? Okay, thank you. Kap kun kap.
Repeat again about the town.
The time?
That you just tell him. Can you repeat again that you answer?
Oh, the question time, huh? Like, again, every moment in our life, right now, right here, you determined by time. You know what time it is. You have an appointment you have to make today. You realize that maybe you've been to hospital, you find out something about your health. You'll find out, oh, maybe I'm not going to live as long as I thought. Or maybe the doctor told you something not so nice. So you find out life is not permanent. Until maybe some certain age, you don't think you will ever die. But when you get older, you come to the stage where you realize, well, my friends have just died. Or my father has died. My mother has died. My best friend just died. Oh, maybe life is not so permanent. And this influence comes to you. And you're going to realize, like, I'm so lucky. I'm still alive. And I'm still more or less healthy, This is the positive side also. Look at these things from the other side as well, I always say. Because they can be a very depressing story from the other side. So death is a normal thing. Impermanence is a normal thing. Time, we invented time and we live by this. We handcuffed ourselves to our watch. And you have to live with this. This is every moment, the main influence. That's why the whole thing is in the hands of time, death, impermanence. Anyone? Yes.
Specific question.
Yeah, please, I like those.
This is a great knowledge, very interesting. But the question is, what benefit of this knowledge can I gain to? And how can I apply such knowledge in my regular life? Because I'm not being a monk, don't live in temple, just live a very normal life, earning money, make business or work at a company. Thank you.
So, what's your name?
A.
Kun A. You have feelings
Yes.
every day.
Yes.
You're not a monk. You still have feelings. Huh?
Yes.
You don't live in a monastery. You still have feelings.
Yes.
Why you have feelings?
Just normal, because I'm a human.
Okay, right. And where do they come from? The feelings.
From the biological point of view, I think from my body, my sense, my brain.
So, from observations, from contacts with an object that you have every moment, isn't it?
Yes.
You don't need to live in a monastery for this one. You don't need to be a monk. You don't need to be a meditator. You still have the feeling that comes from things that happened in the past. You won't have the same feeling as your neighbor. You won't have the same feeling as your girlfriend. because your feelings come from the past. They're influenced by all kinds of things. You don't need to be a monk or live in a monastery to understand this. Did I answer your question?
Yes, and I mean,
để mà
just want to clarify more about my question. This knowledge I want to apply in my life and make it beneficial for me. What kind of can you give advice? What kind of benefits can I apply this knowledge?
Okay. So I asked you, you have feelings, so you do. You said yes, I have feelings. So sometimes you like your feelings, sometimes maybe you don't like your feelings, isn't it?
Yes.
So the moment where you can really work with something is when you don't like it. Kacana? So he understands. Yeah. So your understanding comes very quickly, you see. It's not so stupid what you ask. It's really very good question. So the times when you feel discomfort, yeah, are the times for learning something. To maybe go look a little bit like, where did this come from? Is this beneficial for me? Can I change it? Can I not change it? No, these things are, there are possibilities if you're lucky. Some people are addicted to substances. They don't have this possibility anymore to change. Some people are in terrible pain in hospital somewhere, they cannot change their circumstance. You're lucky. You're still healthy. You can still do something. You're not so obsessed with something. You don't live in fear all the time. Some people have a mental problem. They see ghosts and spirits. And I guess you don't.
Never.
Good.
Never seen.
So, did I answer your question?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? So ignorant, but this is how I explain it. This is how you can work with this every day, every moment in your life. And this was, yeah, Buddha, the scientist, the psychologist. No belief system at all, nothing. He spoke up against belief systems because Buddha was born in Nepal, on the Nepalese, on the border between Nepal and India, in Lumbini, where my first grade teacher used to live there, Bhikkhu Aniruddha, and I meditated there for months in the birthplace of Lord Buddha before they started building temples there. Nowadays it's a beautiful place to visit where Buddha was born, Lumbini in Nepal. It's not touristic, there's many beautiful temples. You can rent a bicycle, go around and visit all these temples from all the countries, all the Buddhist sects, even Germans built a temple, and the French built a temple there. And you see temples in all kinds of styles, like Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese. Lumbini, that's where Buddha was born, that's where he started. You all know the story that his father was afraid that Buddha would become a monk. So he locked him up in a beautiful place where everybody was young. As soon as somebody got sick, they got deported to another country. And so Buddha lived in a palace, artificial place, where everything looked beautiful. So his father didn't want him to start worrying about any of the things we've spoken about here. Until he escaped one day, he wanted to see what's happening outside. And then he saw first people dying, being sick. And he also met the first monk who was meditating. And he realized, I'm wasting my life inside the palace. And he escaped one night. He was a bad boy. He ran away from his wife and kids in the middle of the night. Not a nice thing to do. So he then he tried all kinds of practices. Yeah? Like you should also try many things to find out countries in North India, and I ended up working for the sister of the Dalai Lama. As such, one of my little projects was to help dropouts from the refugee camp from the school, like young teenagers who didn't want to go to school anymore. They were dropouts. Some of them now, they have a cafe, some of them now have a bakery, some of them now have a restaurant. I showed them how to do all this. And through all this, I trained them how to make pastry. My history goes back to organic food. I started in '73 in the Netherlands distributing organic food. My old shop is just now 50 years old. We just celebrated last month. It's still there. This whole distribution system is still there. I have a background in food. So I was asked to work for the refugees from the camps in the Himalaya and North India, working under the sister of Dalai Lama. The sister of Dalai Lama came to one of these projects where I was baking with the kids to get them ready to open a small pastry bakery in town. And we were making some Dutch funny biscuits, but they are a little bit spicy, called speculaas. And the sister of Dalai Lama used to come and watch what I was doing because I did a number of interesting things. And she was always curious what I was doing. So she kept asking me for this particular biscuit. She would come every week or so and ask, do you still have these biscuits? Yeah, we have some. And she says, actually, they're not for me. They're for his holiness, my brother. He likes your speculaas biscuit. So after some time, she came again and she said, my brother wants to see you personally. Because I told him about all the projects that you are doing here without an organization from my own pocket. She said, my brother is so impressed with the story, he wants to see it. So they had a private interview with the Dalai Lama. We sat over a cup of tea, and my first question was, how do you know you are the Dalai Lama? And he started laughing, and he said, they gave me this job, and now I'm doing the job. He's such a jolly fellow, amazing creature, like very inspiring for how you deal with life. Just joke about it. Joke about it. Don't take things too serious. Our main disease is seriousness. Give it up. It's not worth it. Just laugh. So I ended up in the south of India, 15 years in Tamil Nadu, very, very south India. This was influenced by another great teacher who used to live there, Ramana. Ramana was what they call a saint in Hinduism, who taught exactly the same thing. Like if you go in Hinduism, back to the roots of Hinduism, you'll find exactly the same story. If you understand the Bible, you'll find exactly the same story. Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, Jain, Mahavira, all these people taught actually the same story. Later they invented the system to make money and to have power. But before that, they were teaching all the same stories. So in South India, I worked for 15 years as a volunteer in a hamlet. There was no shop. You had to drive 8 kilometers to the next shop. Now there's a school for 240 kids, an orphanage for 60, nursery for 60, mobile clinic that helps 1,500 people every week. And breathe in and breathe out, and realize that it's not worth going here. But if you realize this, and you sit down, and you breathe in and breathe out, you get the inner state, maybe you could call it. You identify more with consciousness than with the body and the mind. You'll find that at this moment, of course, this will have less influence on your time, impermanence. But maybe you set your alarm clock for 1 hour to sit, and it will ring. You're back there. But you'll maybe have more. You'll understand better what happens also when you sit there. You will have disturbing thoughts. You have to go there, have to call this person, have to meet this one. Tomorrow I make sure I'm back there, I have to get my dress ready for tomorrow. And then you go back, breathing in, breathing out, and you laugh about what happened, what you bring back to the body and the mind.
So it means that while keep my mind wandering. So because you told us that this part is the past. So that means while we are just sitting, meditation, whatever, then, but we have the wandering mind, then this part influences us. But if I think about something else, like my planning for the future, then it will be this part, right? So the present time is only what from these two?
Making contact
Contact
with the object.
with the objects.
You hear,
Uh-huh.
you see,
So these two are with us all the time.
this is all the time.
And then we are swinging between this and this, depends on our
But
mind.
you will not have the same fear. You will not have the same fear. This feeling will change. The more you realize that these feelings come from the past,